Hi, this is Bob Iaccino coming to you from a very quiet CME Group trading floor in Chicago. Talking Dow futures. Dow Jones Industrial Average on the cash side finished at about 20,545. The futures side finished at about 20,495, down about 33, hovering around the flat line all day long. A little bit up, a little bit down. Seems to be a common theme on Fridays. I come and speak to you guys every day, or every Friday rather, about the equity markets, and most Fridays I seem to be saying the same thing, that it's kind of hovering around the flat line. I think part of it, we might have had some drivers to the buy side today, except for the looming French election that takes place on Sunday. Now, the French election, the question becomes, does the market need to price in a French exit from the EU, or a Frexit, or a Sayonara, or whatever you want to call it, from the EU? If the election were to go a certain way, and that certain way would be Le Pen being in the runoff against anyone but Macron, or Le Pen versus Mélenchon, then the market does need to start to price in the idea that France may be the next one to exit the EU. Le Pen actually gained a little bit in the polls, a very slight amount in the last poll taken prior to the election actually happening on Sunday. A couple, well, I don't know how many, but a portion of the people polled were actually polled after the terrorist attack in the Champs-Élysées yesterday. And Le Pen actually gained about a half a percentage point on Macron. Four people hovering right around 20%. You've probably heard a lot about this at this point. If you haven't, you will on Monday. If there is any outcome that does not include Emmanuel Macron in the runoff election in May, it's a problem for the equity markets, because they have to begin to think there's a possibility of a French exit from the EU. Also, energy. Crude oil, a weekly decline of right around 7%, and that pushed energy stocks down. The XLE, which is an energy ETF, was down to its lowest point since last November. And you had two of the biggest energy stocks, Chevron and Exxon, which are 40% of that ETF, are also Dow components. So unless they can get a bid to them, they're going to at least keep a cap on the Dow. They weren't beat up that bad, but crude oil really has been. 7% in a week is a pretty good move. We're down back below, or right around rather, that $50 mark in crude oil. Bank stocks could pull the Dow up. And we had bank earnings largely beat their EPS, but there was one notable exception of Goldman. Now, Wells Fargo missed as well, but Wells Fargo has some PR issues on the light side, fraud issues on the heavy side that they're working through, so they were expected to miss. The Goldman Sachs miss was a big deal. Bank of America did well, Citigroup did well, JP Morgan did well, so you would think that the XLF, which is the financial sector ETF, would move up and take some of those bank stocks in the Dow higher. It did not. It finished flat to slightly down on the week. So bank stocks are not really helping the Dow hold its bid. But at the end of the day, it really is about the French election, even with some of the grandiose announcements today from the Trump administration about healthcare, about rollback of regulation, and about tax cuts, and some executive orders signed to that effect. The Dow could not get its feet underneath it today. This is Bob Iaccino talking Dow futures from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago.